A.A.G. News. Fact news you can trust.
Former President Trump returned to New York over the weekend, and though he may no longer be in office, that didn't stop both his fans and detractors from converging on Trump Tower on Monday, making their voices known.
No one is above the law. No one is above the law.
In his first return home to New York since leaving the White House, Donald Trump's presence in the Big Apple proving as impactful as ever.
I'm so happy he's back. Yeah, we miss him and we need him. We love him.
Trump's return to New York coming just days after hundreds of supporters unveiled this Trump 2024 flag on Fifth Avenue, pleading for the 45th president to run again in 3 years.
He will be back in 2024. I can promise you that.
Tax evasion. Guilty, guilty, guilty.
And while some are happy with Trump's return to New York, his critics sure to make their views known.
He is a seditious man. He is a racist man. He is a misogynist man.
Can I ask you, what is Donald Trump guilty of? What is he guilty of? What is he guilty of?
Is guilty.
What is Trump guilty of?
Guilty.
Guilty of what?
I've traveled around the country for the last 4 years, and I would say that New York is probably the safest city to make your voices heard.
But while many Trump supporters in New York may share that sentiment, some still feel the need to hide their support in fear of retribution. Do you feel attacked here in New York City being a Trump supporter?
Yes, that's why I have to hide my hat under my hood. You are not allowed to express your thoughts. You cannot say, okay, I support Donald Trump. The man is out of office. They got what they wanted, so I don't really know why they are still wrapped up in Donald Trump.
Ford, what do you think the president's doing back here? Or the former president, I should say.
Well, I'll tell you what he's doing. He's trying to build back his empire, which took a big hit because he chose to serve as our president and commander-in-chief, and a lot of people tried to make him pay the price for it. Plus, the Democrats aren't letting it go now that he's out of office. They want to chase him out of public life and all life by basically abusing the legal process. So Donald Trump is trying to fix back his empire, but I still think he may still be the Republican nominee in 2024.
Isabel?
I absolutely agree with that, Ford. And how great is it to see such outspoken support for our president, former president, Donald Trump, there in Manhattan. What an incredible sight to see Americans taking to the streets and voicing their support for conservative ideas. It's so important to note that President Trump's legacy and impact is so much bigger than a campaign debate on the campaign trail or even sitting in the Oval Office in Washington, D.C. This is a cultural conversation about what it means to make America great again. And the American people have not forgotten that legacy. They're going to carry the torch forward towards 2024 and hopefully beyond.
Yeah, and the big question, Bob, we've talked about several times, the impact that the former president will have in terms of candidates who choose to run in either 2022 or 2024.
Yeah, we had another announcement today of a senator, Senator Blunt from Missouri, who says he's not running, fifth GOP person. And obviously, those are going to be 5 opportunities for Trump-like or Trump-supporting candidates to come on board. I feel like we're going through phases now. Initially, we got the licking your wounds phase from President Trump. He obviously was bothered by some things that happened. Now he's starting to assess how he could become a kingmaker. And I think part of that is one of the things that we saw today, Heather, about telling a couple organizations, you can't use money for people that don't support me. Or that oppose me.
Or who don't support his American First agenda.
Yeah, and I think that's part of him trying to become a kingmaker for 2022. And if that goes well, obviously he would be in a good place for 2024.
Yeah, Ford. So they do need his support, but they also need his money and the money that he can raise.
That's exactly right. There is no question about it that President Trump is the most prolific money raiser in Republican and conservative circles. I think the media is getting a little out of hand here when it's talking about the letters that he sent to the RNC, the NRSC, and the House committee arm about cease and desisting. Remember, before Donald Trump became president, he was a master and a wizard when it came to branding and licensing. And while the media wants to make this about GOP palace intrigue, what it's really about is licensing and branding in a smart way to do it, because he doesn't want that brand watered down. He doesn't want it misappropriated for things that might not necessarily push the America First agenda.
Yeah. Isabel, what about that? I mean, because it's been up for discussion today because of the controversy that has been fed by a lot in the media, saying that he shouldn't have done this and he shouldn't have kept or he shouldn't keep the RNC from being able to use his image to raise money for all candidates, all Republicans.
Well, first and foremost, Heather, President Donald Trump's name and brand is his own. It's in his likeness. So he absolutely should have autonomy over that and how it's appropriated in the future to help raise money for the Republican Party. But we're seeing a very interesting ideological divide start to form within the Republican Party, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You're seeing establishment Republicans who have been in office longer than twice the time that I've been alive as an American at age 23 versus this new age of conservatism coming to light in public sectors here in America. You see the Madison Cawthorns, the Kat Kamicks, the Lauren Boeberts sitting in the United States Congress right now promoting this America First, Make America Great Again agenda. And young Americans in particular are so energized and inspired by this. President Trump gets it, and he's looking forward to getting that ideology to the forefront.